Welcome back. If you just join us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our major stories. Federal government denies paying €2 million as ransom to terrorist group Boko Haram in exchange for release of 82 Chibok girls 2 weeks ago. Nigerian customs operatives intercept another container load of assorted firearms at the port and cargo terminal of Tinkan Island Port in Lagos. Senate raises alarm over porous state of Nigeria's cyberspace, alerts security agencies and financial institutions about present threats of cyber attacks. British authorities named 22-year-old Salman Abedi as suspected bomber in last night's attack at Manchester Arena. For more on our top stories and others, please visit our website, channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. You can log on to m.channelstv.com to watch us on your mobile device or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from the respective stores. Having the Channels TV and Channels 24 apps will give you access to news and updates. You also have the Eyewitness feature, so you too can be part of the news. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu. Follow the instructions to share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. And now to some of the pictures you sent in. First is this image. It shows people moving on what looks like a hurriedly constructed wooden bridge in the Ayabo axis of Lagos State. Our Eyewitness reporters wondering why the local government authorities cannot construct a proper bridge for the community. Staying in Lagos, our second image shows a man sleeping on the streets of Lagos, Oyibo to be exact. Our Eyewitness reporter wants authorities to put necessary policies in place to cater for the homeless. Our third picture shows a collapsed building somewhere in Abuja. Our Eyewitness reporter wants authorities concerned to check the quality of building materials to avert more disasters. Finally, our Eyewitness reporter is calling on authorities to urgently attend to the makeshift electric pole in Sabongari, Kano State, as it closed because of its closeness to the building, making it extremely dangerous. We thank you for the pictures and we ask that you please keep them coming. The Monetary Policy Committee of Nigeria's Central Bank has left all key rate parameters unchanged after its two-day meeting, which started yesterday. The CBN Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, says the decision follows the need to pave way for improvement in the economy. Our business correspondent, Temple Asadio, reports.
The third MPC meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank coincides with the release of the first quarter GDP numbers by the National Bureau of Statistics, showing a negative of 0.52%, but a 1.21% improvement over the last quarter of 2016. These formed part of the considerations of the monetary authorities on Tuesday.
The data also shows that about 18 economic activities recorded positive growth during the first quarter of 2017, indicating that the economy was firmly on the path of recovery.
Last March, a similar rates decision were taken, and this time the 8-member committee unanimously voted from altering all the rates parameters.
In summary, MPC decided to 1. Retain MPR at 14%, 2. Retain CRR at 22.5%, 3. Retain liquidity ratio at 30%, and 4. Retain the asymmetric corridor at plus 200 and minus 500 basis points around the MPR.
Meantime, a team of investment and research analysts say the MPC decisions are in line with consensus projections.
The CBN actually did something very interesting when they benchmarked savings rates to 30% of MPR, because the cost of savings rate goes into the cost of funds, and of course, if they benchmark, so when they reduce MPR, savings rate should reduce, and that's part of the cost of funds. But there are some other items there. You're having the OPEX of the bank, executive compensation, bonuses, required return on investments by the shareholder. So the higher the non-systematic risks I see, the higher my required return.
The MPC is still very much concerned with inflation, and it's sort of like signal that if the need be, tightening might be a next move.
Whether they decide to ease or to tighten, in any case, the effect is net-net if you look at money supply on an annual basis.
Increasing economic data and outlook projections point to a traction in manufacturing, agriculture, and a few other areas of the economy, as sentiments remain positive on the stable exchange rate and fiscal activities expected to impact positively on the economy going forward. Temple Ashaju, Channels Television News.
Joining us to throw more light on the decision of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting to leave the rate unchanged is Mr. Bismack Karwane. He's the CEO of Financial Derivatives. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Millicent.
So it seemed like yesterday, March that is, when we sat here and the rates were still left unchanged. What do you make of the meeting today?
Okay. 3 things. 1, what happened? 2, why did it happen? And 3, what next and how does it affect you? So let's break it down. What happened was that the Monetary Policy Committee, where, if you take the next slide, were in doubt. Right? And when you are in doubt, you have 6 options. You do something, you do nothing, you take more time, you tell the truth, you risk it, or you pedal it out. Right? What they chose to do, because of the risks, is that we need more time, take more time, and then they did nothing. Now, what were the concerns that made them take this decision? 4 concerns. The governor made it very clear. 1, global economic uncertainty, possible hike in U.S. interest rates, so that reversal of capital flows.
Right.
3, inflationary risks are still there. And 4, renewed currency weakness could emerge. And so, but the Monetary Policy Committee is a committee that advises the central bank and everybody. They have 2 sets of objectives. 1, what are the monetary objectives of this country and the central bank? 1, to control inflation. 2, exchange rate convergence. 3, to build external reserves. And 4, banking system stability. On the other hand, you have the fiscalists. Accelerated GDP growth, low unemployment, increased purchasing power, and investor confidence. So these were the considerations.
So political and economic concerns.
Absolutely, because we are going half-time, right? 2 years of the administration. We need to go back into the political cycle. What are you seeing today? You have multiple exchange rates. But the important thing is that the central bank has successfully allowed this rate to converge from a difference of about 200 naira between the parallel and to a difference of 75 naira. So what do you have? You have a situation where the rates are converging, and you are beginning to see, because of transparency and increased supply. But how does it affect you, the viewers sitting out there? We've classified this group into 3 categories. 1, the elite. That is the rich and the elite. How has it affected them? Out of the 5 parameters, 2 were down, 1 was flat, and 1 was up. Which is the one that is up? The flight ticket from Lagos to London in January was 613,000 naira. Today it's 421,000 naira. The kilo of chicken was 1,200. In January, it's now 1,450. So it went up by 20%. School fees in Corona Primary School as a proxy was flat at 460,000 naira. In January, it's still the same. Diesel price was 270 naira in January, it's down to 175. What is more important? The price of a fully built up, fully loaded Toyota car was 19 million naira end of last year. It is now 21 million naira. And what's more, only 363 cars were imported into this country as fully built up units, as against 3,335 first quarter last year. 180 million people, only 363 cars. That's for the rich.
Exactly.
Now let's go to the middle class. That is Millicent and co. Right? The middle class, first thing, out of the 5 parameters, 2 were flat, 2 were negative, and 1 was positive. The positive was that the bag of rice in December was 24,000. It's now 17,500. That's good for you. In any case, you watch your weight. Semolina was 3,100 in January. It's 3,500. Went up 12%. That's fattening as well. So maybe time to cut some weight. Bus fare from Lagos to Onitsha was 6,000 in January. It's now 6,500. The direct flight to Abuja, which was 21,000 return last year, is now 45,000 naira return. And Indomie was flat at 60 naira a sachet. So that's the middle class. But most important,
the common man.
the common man, the working class man, what's he facing? One, sachet of water flat at 10 naira last year, 10 naira now. Beans was 200 naira for a little container, it's now 280 naira, 40% higher. Yam tuber, 450 naira in January, it's now 700 naira because of the planting season. And gala, snack of gala was 70 naira in January, it's 70 naira now. And more than anything else, gari has gone from 15,000 to 26,000 naira.
So essentially, there's some positives and some negatives.
There are positives.
With this.
Where am I going? Where I'm going is that this is going to be a slow and painful recovery. Forget about all the data that is out there. The truth is, how does it affect you? If you still have a job, fine. But you need to deal with this situation. In a recession, what are we treating? Are we treating inflation? Are we treating growth? If your growth is a more fundamental issue, and therefore the interest rate regime and environment which we have has to be addressed. But the central bank is saying, too soon, let's not get carried away, let's wait and give ourselves some more time. Do we have time? Not too much. So what's going to happen next? You are going to have multiple exchange rates converging, you are going to have more dollars and less naira, you are going to have this IFEX window, which is a very important development, which has changed the structure of the market, which is a very, very important development. They traded $1 billion, of which only 30% came from the central bank. People are beginning to say, maybe there's a transparency and there's a market. So I expect another $1 billion to be traded in the next month or two.
All right.
Good. And then, in summary, oil production is going to increase. Escravos, Focados, and Bonga are up. And more than anything else, on the 25th of May, this month, OPEC will meet, most likely increase our quota, not increase our quota, but extend the cut. And in the end, this will be a slow, painful, but very, very consistent recovery.
Okay.
So no silver bullet. There are happy days ahead, but no, we are not yet there.
It's right? Not yet uhuru.
Not yet uhuru.
Thank you.
Remember,
so much.
this NBS man said today, very eloquently, happy, but don't think it's over yet. It's
Thank
not
you
over
so
till
much.
it's over.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bismarck. Ms. Mark He's the CEO of Financial Derivatives, for talking to us on the News at 10. And when the News at 10 returns, Channels Television mourns our State House correspondent Chukwuma Onuekwusi, who died in an Abuja hospital today. Do join us again.